We're quickly hurtling towards summer, and for anyone following smartphone release cycles, that means one thing. Samsung's about to launch new versions of its foldable phones. Usually at some point in July, it shows off whatever is new in the Galaxy Z Fold and Z Flip before launching them in the weeks following. So what's new for the new foldable phone series? Are we expecting any fun changes? Any disappointments? I'm Cam Bunton, this is Trusted Reviews. Let's dive in. Now, right at the start, it is worth noting, of course, that these are rumours, nothing is official yet. However, a lot of these rumour sources have proven track records, and so generally speaking, if they're not 100% accurate, it's likely that they're not going to be that far off. So first up, the most important bit. Colours. Okay, I kid, kind of. Colours aren't the most important thing, but as with previous series, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a difference between the Flip and the Fold models. Now, the Flip typically has more fun, vibrant offerings, and according to Evan Blass, that's going to be the same this year. So we're going to see blue, mint, silver, and yellow versions of the Flip. He claims the Fold will be available in navy, pink, and silver, with both also available in black and white exclusively online, plus another exclusive colour for the Flip, peach. Yum. Now, it seems just like with its non-folding Galaxy S series, the folding phones are becoming more iterative as each new series progresses. And as such, it's not expected we're going to see massive design changes from the Flip 5 model, although there will be some tweaks. Early leaked renders suggest that the phone will be virtually identical to the last one. But it does look like the phones will be taking some design influence from the S24 series, in that the sides seem a little flatter and more right-angled where the metal frame meets the glass on the front and the back. It is supposedly a little thicker though, likely because it's got a bigger battery, but we'll go more into that a bit later. The more obvious changes are found on the Z Fold 6, at least if leaks are anything to go by. And from what's been shared so far, it looks like the screen on the front is getting completely right-angled uniform bezels all the way around it, which looks so much better and more symmetrical than the previous iterations. It's going after that Galaxy S24 Ultra vibe a bit, with its minimalist, squared-off, flat design which, while very aesthetically attractive, might make it a little less comfortable to hold and to use. There's some suggestion that the phones could get an internal screen improvement using a thicker, flexible material that doesn't crease as much as the previous versions, which could be amazing, because not only would it be more durable, but also less of an eyesore. That's something we're likely to see improved year on year as these flexible phones get more and more mature, providing they don't just can them eventually. So what specs can we expect? Well, logic would suggest that if previous versions are an indication, we'll see the latest Snapdragon chips from Qualcomm inside the Flip and the Fold for 2024. Although, one rumour had suggested initially that Samsung has been testing versions of the Flip with both an 8 Gen 3 from this year and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 from last year. Now, if Sammy opts to go with the latter, it could help keep costs down, but it would mean the phone is essentially the same as the Flip 5, which would be a very unusual decision. Now, there are a couple of welcome spec bumps coming, if rumours are to be believed. One of them is a slight increase from 3,700 mAh battery capacity to a 4,000 mAh battery, which, with the more efficient new processor, should mean much better battery life on the whole with the Flip. Now, reality is different to assumption, but it sounds promising at least. Now, it's the same for the cameras, which again seems a big plus, because foldable phone cameras are generally its biggest weak point compared to normal smartphones. Now, it's claimed we're getting the 50 megapixel primary sensor that we have in the S24, which is actually very good news indeed. Not much has been said on the secondary camera, so I think it's safe to assume we're going to have a pretty bang average ultra-wide sensor, but here's hoping it's at least slightly better than the last one. The Z Fold 6 will continue with a 3-camera layout as we've seen before, with a main ultra-wide and a zoom, basically like the S24 Plus has. Now, megapixel count is rumoured to be exactly the same as before. So if there is any improvement here, it could be processor based. At this point though, not exactly a major jump from the 2023 model. In fact, the Z Fold 6 is likely to feature very similar specs to the current model all around. The battery capacity is apparently staying the same, and apart from the upgrade to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, there's not a whole lot else going on here. You'll probably get 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage on the entry-level model, with storage options going up to 1TB. Now, of course, 2024 is the year that AI has become the hot topic, and so Galaxy AI will almost certainly feature on these new foldable phones because it already features on the older ones thanks to a software update. So your next flexible friend will be able to spell check, change writing style, generate images, clean up photos, translate phone calls, and all sorts of other things when the Z Flip and the Z Fold launch soon. So are you ready for some bad news? It's been claimed that the Z Flip is going to cost $100 more in the US than the previous model. So that's $1,099 SIM-free for the 256GB variant according to OnLeaks. It's a similar story for the Z Fold 6 according to the same source, so you can expect a $1,900 starting price for the big productivity beast. Now it is worth caveating that statement, as realistic as it might sound, with saying often these price hike rumors are false. I've lost count of the number of iPhone or Samsung launches I followed over the years, with the rumors in the run-up to those events saying it's going to be more expensive than last year, and in the end it costs exactly the same. In fact, I'd say it's been almost every major phone launch for the past few years. Someone leaks a price hike story, and when it launches it feels like a bargain because the price is just the same as it was before. Well, in fact, that's still already quite expensive. As for release date and timing, it's expected to be announced on or around the 10th of July at an event taking place in Paris. Usually they're available to buy in the weeks that follow, ahead of all the IFA stuff and, crucially, Apple iPhones. So all in all, a bit of a good news, bad news situation for us. You can find links to all the original sources for these rumors in the description box right below if you want to read them and check them out for yourself. Now, as I mentioned, they are rumors, and recently Samsung seems terrible at keeping stuff close to its chest. So it's likely we're going to know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. But there may be some surprises, so don't be surprised if there are surprises. Let me know what you'd like to see from Samsung in the folding phone space in the comments below, or you can grab me on social media. I'm at Cam Bunton. If you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.